Right then, ladies, gentlemen, grandmas and nanas. Let's come first of all into a nice strong set position. So we start with our foundation posture. We want our heels directly below our hips, all 10 toes pointing forwards, and then just soften and relax through your knees. When you're ready, let your weight come evenly into both feet, and then feel like most of the weight sat back through your heels and your toes are nice and relaxed. So from here, you're just going to gently turn your palms towards your thighs and bring your shoulder blades towards each other, and that's going to open across your chest and your shoulders. Just start to move into your lower back. Just a few rocks through our pelvis, gently tucking under with the tailbone, and then gently lifting your tailbone up. Now as you're starting to move through your pelvis, we're going to keep the length and the stillness through the upper back. Little nodding of the chin, just making sure the head doesn't drop forward of your shoulders. We're trying to get that nice alignment as we start to move. So just trying to find a little bit of freedom in our lower back first of all. And as we're breathing out and tucking our bottom under, we're pulling our belly button softly back towards the spine. Okay, give me one more tuck, and then you're going to hold your tuck, so that keeps it in a neutral spine, and then just a little bit of movement into the shoulders. So as you breathe in, your shoulders pull up towards the ears, and as you breathe out, your hands slide down towards your knees. And as you're sliding your hands down towards your knees, you want to feel your shoulder blades sliding right down to the back of the ribs. Let the in-breath come through your nose and the out-breath through your mouth. Aware you're still holding your neutral position. And then this time as you roll the shoulders back and down, keep that feeling that you're pulling your shoulder blades down, and then bring your right arm out to the side and then into the centre. Then your left arm, and then lift both shoulders up. Pull the shoulder blades down, reach out to the side, no higher than your shoulder. And you want that sensation through the back of your shoulder as your shoulder blades keep pulling down towards the back of your ribs. So that when you lift the arm, the shoulder itself doesn't lift up towards the ear. So give me a couple more on each side. So we're just switching on the muscles in the mid-back and around the shoulders to keep our stability. And then we're going to come into both arms and a heel raise. So this time lift both shoulders, breathing in, lift the heels, breathe out, reach down, and then arms out to the side. Breathing in, lift the shoulders towards the ears, breathe out, pull the shoulder blades down. So again, when you take the arms out to the side, don't let those shoulders rise. So on the back of the neck, nice and long. When you're lifting your heels, try and keep the same distance between your ankles at the top and at the bottom. And give me two more here. Lengthen as you reach away, and then into your last one, and then resting with your hands by your thighs. Turn your palms up to the ceiling, pull the shoulder blades again down, and soften through your rib cage, so you're keeping your core connected. I'm just going to do a few dumb waiters. Now as we go into our dumb waiter, the movement comes through the mid-back, so you've got the feeling of your shoulder blades squeezing together, but you're just aware that you're not pushing the rib cage forward. So the knees are still soft, the weight's still into the heels, and as you breathe out, you're drawing the tummy in to keep the spine nice and still as we just mobilise the shoulders, open up through the chest, and connect into our mid-back. Okay, a couple more here, using the out-breath to open and the in-breath to close. Out with the mouth, and then in. Lower your hands, Lexi, shush. Postman's just been. So with the shoulders drawn back and down in our set position, we're just going to ease into a few side bends and bring some movement into our spine. Now the knees are still soft, and you're aware that as you bend from side to side, there's no shift of weight from one foot to the other. Trying to keep your toes relaxed so you're not gripping with the toes. So much to think about. Again, you're breathing in as you ease down and out as you lengthen. You can take the movement deeper, bringing your hands towards your head, but making sure the shoulders are away from your ears. And you're just letting your elbow come from one hip over to the other. Now again, as you're moving from side to side, it's as if you're between two panes of glass. So you're keeping your elbows nice and open. You're keeping your tailbone gently tucked under, and just aware that your elbow isn't coming forward of your body. Keep drawing down with the shoulders and pulling up through the crown of your head. A little squeeze at the bottom helps keep the hips nice and still. And then one more each side. And then you rest in the middle. You're going to bring the hands down, release your shoulders. We're going to practice an arm movement that we're going to add into our lunges. So we're going to start with the bow and arrow arms first. Arms are forward, and you're making sure that you're not pulling your shoulders forward. So they want to sit back and down into the ribs again. Your right elbow gently pulls back, then you're going to open the arm, and then you close into the centre. We breathe in, and then you breathe out to close. Now again, you've got a little squeeze into your bottom, so the hips stay facing forward. So if you imagine those headlights on the hip bones, they don't turn. Stay facing towards the front and nice and square all the way through. Let the rotation come into the neck. Let your eye gaze follow your hand, and use the in-breath to pull back and the out-breath as you close. So we've got the stability through our hips because we're keeping our hips nice and still. We've got the length all the way up the spine, through the neck into the crown of your head. And lots of rotation through your spine. One more to your left. And then lower the arms down. Release the shoulders, and let's come to our foot pedals. So place your hands on your hip bones, tuck under again with your tailbone, and lift your right heel. So you want to make sure you're on the ball of your foot and not on your outer toes. On the ball of your foot, you'll keep the knee forward. Now we're going to start to pedal our feet as one heel lifts, the opposite heel lowers. Then you're thinking about your hips and try not to let the hips rock from side to side. So you're trying to keep your weight nice and centred, and there's no shift of weight from one foot over to the other. You feel like you're pulling the crown of your head up towards the ceiling. And as you lower your heels, you're still on that feeling that you're pulling the crown of your head up towards the ceiling. Drawing the tummy in so you're still in your neutral spine. That's going to help to keep that stability to our hips. And then you're ready to add in the arms. So from here, keep your right heel lifted. Bring the arms forward and roll the shoulders back. Open your left arm upwards, your right hand to your thigh, and then you're going to alternate the arms and the legs. Now again, we're thinking about the spine, so you're not pushing the ribs forward, you're not flaring through your ribs. You've got the length in the neck, eye gazes forward with your chin still tucked in. And again, you're trying not to rock from side to side. Lengthen the arms right up into your fingertips. Breathing in through the nose and out through your mouth. And give me two more on each side. Nice and strong through your core. And then your last one, and you can bring the heel and the arm down. Okay, from here, let's come into some squats. Feet just a little bit wider than set position. So they're about hip distance apart, not outside your hip sockets. Now again, toes forward. And if your knees tend to roll in, you might find that flattens your arches. So you're going to gently press your knees out so you feel more weight on the outer edge of the foot and into the heel of the foot. Now keeping our neutral spine, we're going to roll back with the shoulders. We're going to breathe in, sweep the arms forward, and then breathe out on your rise. The breath in through the nose, and the hips move back first, behind the heels. Now with the chin nodded in, keep that length into the neck. So when you come down to your squat, try not to keep looking forward and let the neck come into this position. And your little peach underneath your chin. Be aware the knees truck in line with your toes. And if you're ready, you can let the arms come just a little bit higher. Just be aware those knees don't start to collapse inwards. So by keeping the knees gently pressing outwards, we keep the muscles through the outer thighs switched on as well. And that creates more stability through the knees and more stability through our hips, especially when we lift our heels. So the next time you come down, you're going to hold at the bottom. You're going to lift the heels if you can, press through the feet, and then bring your hands back down to your thighs and then lower your heels. Hips back, chin nodded in, knees over toes, roll onto the balls of the feet, press through the balls of your feet, pull the shoulder blades down, and then your heels. So lots of control through this movement, lots of connection to our core, and you're aware that when you lift up, you're not pushing your ribcage forward. So again, brace your core here and don't feel like that you've flared and arched into your back. The ankles, try not to let them roll apart. So you're pressing evenly through both feet, shoulder blades down to the ribs, and gently easing down. 4 more, breathe in through the nose, breathe out through the mouth, push up, take a breath in, and then breathe out to lower. Ease your breath in through the nose, chin nodded in, roll onto the balls of the feet, press up tall, no flare through the ribs, and softly down with your heels. 1 more time. I've got a squeaky floorboard under my foot. That's my excuse for wobbling. So give your legs a little shake, and we're going to stay with this split lunge next. So the lunge is about releasing our hips as well as strengthening our legs. Feet still hip width apart. Front knee wants to stack directly over the heel. And again, if the knee rolls in, if you've got a flat arch, try and just work on pressing the knee outwards to lift the arch and stabilise the knee. Once you're in this position, we're going to lose the arch in the lower back. So you tuck under your tailbone and you'll feel that your back knee bends and comes slightly forward. Shoulders are down. We're going to breathe in, come into your lunge. Draw your right arm back, open it, and then close and rise. We're going to do 6 on each side, so it's not too many. Tailbone first. Breathe in. Breathe out. And press to your front heel. Shoulders staying above the hips. And we're thinking about the stability through our front knee, especially when we turn. So we open the shoulder and the chest, push down through the front heel. 3 more, big breath in. Out breath, and rise. Shoulders above the hips the whole way through. Nice long back. And just 1 more time before I fall over. Keep pressing the knee gently out towards that little toe. And then push up through the heel and step in. So we take that long step back again. Keep the feet hip width apart. Under with your tailbone. So again, we've still got alignment between the ear, hip, shoulder, hip. Don't know what I'm talking about. Knee gently pressing outwards. Shoulders draw back. When you're ready, lower into your lunge. Pull your elbow back, open if you can, close, and then rise. Shoulders all the way above the hips. Try not to allow your body to tip forward. And again, giving that tailbone a tuck under. So you want to feel the stretch at the front of your right hip as you lower. Halfway, I think, or it might have been 4. We'll do 2 more to be safe. Try not to grip with your toes on the front foot. And 1 more time. Tuck in the chin, open the chest, squeeze into the middle, push up through your heel and step forward. Give your legs a little shake. So we're going to work our way down to the mat. So with your feet under your hips, you're going to bend your knees. You're going to tuck in your chin. You can bend your knees more as you gently roll through your spine. Hands come onto the ground. You're going to walk your hands forward. You're going to bring your knees down so your knees are underneath your hips. And then you're going to draw the shoulder blades back into your ribs. Perfect box position. Now think about your back. Gently lift the belly button up to the spine. Keeping our neutral spine. We're just going to work with our arms. We're going to breathe in, keep the shoulders back, reach your right arm forward, and then lift. Little finger to the floor, and then back into the centre. All I want you to focus on is keeping your shoulders nice and still. Now you're gently pushing the heels of your hands into the ground, but you're aware that you've not allowed your upper back to round either. So So you're trying to keep that lengthened feeling. And now what I'd like to do is hold at the bottom, take your body weight slightly forward into your hands, and then go again. And you should feel a little difference through your core muscles having to work. Lengthen the arm, but don't let the shoulder come up towards the ear. You're working on the shoulder stability as you keep the shoulder blades sat into the back of the ribs. We do it nice and slowly, so we use now breath. In breath as you reach forward. Out breath with the lift. In breath to the floor, and then your out breath to the centre. Keep bringing the hands right back underneath your shoulders. Now just check your nose, your chin, in line with your fingertips. We're going to do one more on each side, and then we're going to give the wrists a rest. Point your thumb to the ceiling, squeeze it up by the ear, hand lightly to the floor, back into the centre, and just walk your hands forward. Gently lower yourself to the ground. I'm going to come from extension work next to the back. So we're going to bring our elbows out in line with our shoulders, so they're at 90 degrees, with your fingertips pointing forwards. Lengthen the back of the neck. Now let your legs just relax, let your bottom relax. Gently draw your belly button towards your spine, just a position where you can hold it there. Now we're going to lift our right arm and our forehead off the floor. We're going to use the out breath. The arm just hovers, it's just an inch or two, and then the in breath as we ease down. Now you're trying not to look forward as you lift, and you're also trying not to press your belly back in towards the ground. Use the out breath as you rise, and the in breath as you lower. Now we're trying to make sure the work stays in our mid back and our upper back. So it's not a very big lift, but you're lengthening as you lift. You're pulling the crown of the head forward, and you're keeping those elbows just at 90 degrees. Again, as you breathe out through the mouth, that helps to engage your core. On the lift, with the effort, the out breath. Gentle breath in as you ease down. And try and feel that you're still in a neutral spine, so your tailbone gently drawing back towards your heels. We're just going to do one more on our left. And then you're going to rest the head. You can bring your hands forward and allow your head to rest on your hands. Shoulders again, nice and relaxed. Bringing your feet in so they're directly in line with your hips. And from here, just a little lift of your knee. And then you're going to relax your knee down. Then you're going to lift your other knee and you're going to relax it down. So what we're doing first of all is just learning the correct movement pattern. So what we want to do is lift the knee off the ground so it engages the front of your thigh and it stretches out the back of your leg. And once you've got the leg straight, then we'll let the glutes do some work by lifting the leg. So this time, once you've lifted the kneecap off the floor, then you're going to squeeze the bottom and lift the leg. Relax the knee down. Knee first, then squeeze the bottom to lift a straight leg. Now, before you go again, draw your tailbone gently towards your heels. Lift the knee, lift the leg. Relax the knee. Breathe out with a lift. Focus on your tummy again. Try not to press your belly button back into the ground. Keep the shoulders nice and relaxed. Now we're going to do one more on each leg. Just so we've got that leg movement perfect. And we're still aware of the position of our lower back. We're not allowing the back to arch as our leg lifts. Then we can add back in the arms. So it's the opposite arm and the opposite leg. Bringing your elbows back, that 90-degree angle. Pull the shoulder blades down and tuck in your chin. Tailbone towards the heels. Take a breath in when you're ready. Let's use the out breath. Squeeze the knee and then lift the opposite arm and the opposite leg. Kneecap first, tailbone towards the heels. And as one arm lifts, keep the other arm resting on the ground. And again, you're trying to make sure the forearm stays parallel to the ground. You can start to feel your shoulder blades squeezing in towards your spine as you lift the arm and lift the chest. Again, keep drawing the tailbone to the heels. You might feel you're not lifting as far, but again, we're using those correct muscles to try and strengthen all the way down the spine. If you want to take it a little further, you can lift both arms and both legs. It's a little bit harder to keep your neutral spine, so you might want to take it smaller and lower. Lift the knees, squeeze the thighs, breathe in. Keep the eye gaze down, and let's do 2 more. Now from here, you're going to try and hold at the top, whether it's one arm or both arms. We're going to do W's. We're just going to squeeze the elbows to the ribs and back out in line with the shoulders. You can have the leg movement. You can lower your legs and then lift them as you move into your W. Drawing the belly button up towards the spine. And again, you can do this with single arms. Again, it's just that gentle pull back. Shoulder blade pulling down to the back of the ribs. 1 more on each side, or 2 more if you're using both arms and both legs. And then we rest. Thankfully. Hands under your shoulders, squeeze in with the elbows, push up off the floor, and bring your knees back in under your hips. Now, if you've got your hands too close, your back's not going to be in a lengthened position. So once you've got the hands under the shoulders and knees under the hips, you can feel that you can lengthen from your tailbone to the head. Just a little tuck under with the tailbone. Keep the ribs still. Just going into your pelvic tilts to open up your lower back. Feel like your belly button pulls up towards the spine. Your elbows are soft. And now you're going to hold in neutral position. We'll come to the legs this time. Your right leg slides back, squeeze the thigh, and lift a straight leg. Now again, don't worry about how high you lift the leg. Think more about keeping your leg straight as it lifts. Each time the knee comes back underneath the hip. Now just notice your head hasn't dropped. I want to keep the muscles nice and strong through the back of the neck. Shoulder blades pulling down into the back of the ribs. And then think about that lower back as you lift your leg. Try not to arch into your lower back. So again, it's the squeeze through the bottom. Lengthening, squeezing for the lift. And we'll visit those again at the end with the arms and legs together. Let's do 1 more for now on each side. Use the out breath. Squeeze the bottom, toe down lightly, and then bring the knee in. Just gently sit back towards your heels. Now you can bring your elbows down to the ground. You're going to relax the shoulders and try and encourage your hips towards your heels. Then see if you can walk your hands a little further forward. Try and soften through the neck and the shoulders. Take a nice big breath in and use the out breath to sink. Okay, from here let's work on our backs next. In our back position, we're going to work on our tummies but on our backs. I know what I meant. So we're going to take a turn over in your own time. Just rolling onto your back. So we've got lots of movement through the shoulders. We did the arm circles with our squats, which we're going to do with our crunches. So what I'd like you to do is just place your feet hip distance apart. Now you don't want your feet close like we do for a bridge. The feet are a little further away. Knees are in line with your hips. Your head rests. Your chin nods in. Fingertips reach down towards the ankles. And all we're going to do from here is keep the trunk of the body still. We're going to breathe in, lift both arms up, reach them back overhead, and then you're going to circle the arms back to your ankles. think about your ribs. Keep the ribs down, so the back of your ribs stay on the ground. And as your arms reach back overhead, you're trying to get that core connection to stop your ribs lifting off the floor. So gentle breath in on the lift, and then an out breath as you pull back into the middle. So let's have 2 more circles here. So we're just getting lots of movement through the shoulders. We're still focused on that stability through our core. And then we can come into a crunch. We're going to reach the fingers towards our ankles. We're going to keep them here. Tuck in your chin. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, you're just gently squeezing the ribs to the hips. And then a breath in as you lower down. Now we're in a neutral position. And as we rise, we're trying not to press the lower back into the floor. So you almost imagine like your hips are your anchor, and it's the muscles here that are pulling your ribs towards your hips. Now if you feel it comes into your neck more, you can always let the hands just sit behind the head. But what I want you to make sure is that you don't pull your neck forward. You can just support the weight of the head with the hands. And try and feel that when you lift, you're lifting from here. You're pulling your ribs towards your hips. Like you're squashing your square from the ribs down towards the hips. Now we're going to add in the circles. So we're going to come into our crunch. We're going to lift the arms up. Don't let the head drop back. Hands towards your ankles and then lower down. So you can use the out breath when you rise. Breathe in to lift the arms, and then breathe out to circle, and then a breath in to ease down. Now again, if you still struggle with the neck, you can have one hand under the head, you can support the weight of the head, and you can just circle with one arm, and then gently lower down, and changing hands. So don't pull the head forward, just let the weight sit back into the hand. And as you're moving with those arm circles, you're trying to make sure your ribs don't lift a millimetre away from your hips. And we're going to do 2 more there. So you can squash your ribs a little closer towards the hips. And as you're rising up, you feel like it's a roll through your spine. Keep the chin tucked in. And again, roll through each vertebrae. Eye gaze stays forward on your thighs. Back to your ankles and easy down. Perfect. So if you need to just give your head a little roll from side to side just to release the neck and any tension in your shoulders. Now from here we're going to come to our knee drops. With the knee drops, it's all about the stability of your left leg and the mobility into your right leg, and making sure your core stays strong to keep the pelvis and the ribs still. So we're going to have a glass of water balanced on our right knee, and it's full to the brim, so you're not going to spill a drop. Hands on your hips. Now you can just lower your right knee towards the floor, taking a gentle breath in, making sure that left knee doesn't move. Now as you breathe out, you're drawing your belly button back towards your spine. So it's as if you're using your tummy muscles to pull the knee back into the centre. Now think about your left hip. You almost feel like it's gently pressed into the ground. And try and keep that same amount of pressure through your left hip as you lower your right knee. You might feel the knee doesn't go as far. But again, you've got that glass of water balanced on your left knee. So you're trying to keep that left knee as still as possible. Breathing in as you ease it down. And then breathing out with your left. So we do 5 more on this side. So again, we're thinking about using our core muscles the whole way through to keep the spine, the hips nice and still. You're breathing out through the mouth as you squeeze back into the centre. And you can keep your left foot really light on the floor. So you're not pushing your left foot into the floor as you lift your right knee. And again, it's a slow breath in as you ease down. Out breath through the mouth, drawing the belly button in. And 2 more. Just ease it onto the edge of the foot. Think about the pressure down into your left hip, squashing your bottom gently into the floor. But not your left foot. That stays light. So so much to think about. Breathe out through the mouth. And we'll change legs. So we place the glass of water on our right knee. Again, we check we're still on neutral spine, so your hip bones are pointing to the ceiling, shoulders are relaxed. Left knee when you're ready, just ease it down slowly. Try not to let the right hip lift. And then breathe out as you come back into the middle. Make that right foot light on the floor. So we'll have it resting on fluffy pink marshmallows today. Nice slow breath in through your nose. A little pause at the bottom. As you breathe out, draw the belly button down to the spine. As you draw your belly button towards your spine, you're not pressing your back into the floor. So you're trying to get the spine still and draw the belly button towards the spine. Shoulders and neck nice and relaxed. The out breath nice and strong. Breathe in, take that little pause at the bottom. Start to breathe out through the mouth and keep breathing out right back to the very top. And 2 more on this side. Slow in with the breath. Keep that right hip still. Breathe out, keep the right foot light. And 1 more time. In through the nose. Little pause. Out through your mouth. And then rest in the centre. Okay, from here we're going to bring the knees above the hips. Now the lower abdominals are switched on and holding that pelvis perfectly still. Knees are at 90 degrees. You're going to put your hands on your knees and push the knees away. Pull your shoulders back into the floor and that should perfectly set the knees above the hips. Keep the hands there for a second. Keep the knee at 90 degrees. Just tap your toe towards the ground and keep your lower back in an imprinted position. You're going to breathe in. Now when you bring your knee in, it lightly rests against the hand and you're not pushing the hands back in. And that's just going to make sure that you bring your knees directly above the hips each time. Just before you lower your leg, gently press the back into the ground. Try and keep the back touching the floor as you lower your leg. And if you get to the point where your back lifts, then don't go as far. Just go to the point where you feel able to keep the contact between the lower back and the mat. And if you're happy, your knees are staying above the hips, you can bring the hands down. Lengthen the back of the neck. Keep the chin slightly nodded in. And again, maybe just before you go, find your imprint. Breathe in to lower the foot. Breathe out to lift. Do you want to add in your arm circles again? Thought you might. And now your option here, you can keep the head rested, reach the arms back overhead, and then circle as you come back into the centre. So by keeping the head down, we've still got a 2-directional pull. You're making sure the ribs don't flare as the arms go back. And if you want to bring the upper body into it more, we lift the head and the shoulders. We breathe in as we tap the foot, and then we breathe out to come back into the centre. Now, whichever position you're in, you're going to do 4 more on each leg. Remember, you can rest the head down, just work with the arms and the legs. Or you can just work with the legs, always an option. Still in your soft imprint all the way through. Knee stopping directly above the hip every time. That's going to stop the tummy muscles having a rest. Because I'm sure they don't want to have a rest just yet. I'll do that. Let's try 1 more. And then when you have finished your last one, you're on time, just gently hug the knees in towards your chest. Gently draw the knees in. Have a little roll from side to side so it gently massages your lower back. See the nice bits. Promise you there were some. Right, remember we've done the arms and the legs and the extension on our hands and knees. We're now going to do the arms and legs together. So from here, we're going to take a roll over. If you struggle on your hands and knees, or you've had enough on the hands and knees, feel free just to stay here and work with the opposite arm and leg extension. If your hands are still okay, press them into the floor, knees under the hips. Remember, you can always put a towel underneath the hands to decrease the angle of the wrist. Once we're in our box position, we're going to gently bring our weight forward in a position where our spine's nice and long and the shoulder blades sat into the back of the ribs. Right arm and left leg. Take a breath in, slide forward. Now breathe out with the lift. Breath in, and then breathe out to the centre. Now you can imagine that you've got a tray of drinks balanced on your bottom this time, and you're trying to keep the hips really level and still. Once you've got a feel for the movement, so you can take your body weight slightly forward into your hands. Elbows stay soft. Belly button still drawing up towards the back. And let's try and find that length again. Push your fingers forward. Push your toes back. Try not to collapse into the shoulders. And we're going to go for 4 more. So after this one, you've got 4 left, 2 on each side. If you need less at any point, you can just work with the arms, or you can just work with the legs. Think about drawing the belly button away from your t-shirt. So again, as you move the arms and legs, the ribs aren't dropping and the back isn't arching. Aware the head isn't dropped below the shoulders. And again, really good for strengthening the back as well. All those muscles that run up and down our spine. Gives us lots of stability to our spine. Then when you finish your last one in your own time, take your knees a little wider. And now so you can get your hips a little further back towards the heels. You can bring your elbows down to the ground. You can walk your arms forward. And just allow yourself to relax down. Breathing in through your nose. And then breathing out to soften down through your shoulders. Relaxing through your back. Gently drawing your tailbone towards your heels. And then from here, we come into centre. Coming into a seated position. And we're going to just bend the knees a little. So we're going to have our knees bent with the feet still in line with the hips. And we're just going to finish off with a little bit of movement through the back. So up on your sit bones with your shoulders down and just a tailbone. Our tailbone just tucks under, sorry, and then come back onto your sit bones. So it's not a very big movement. Just trying to release the lower back. Now you might find this hard if your hamstrings are a little bit tight to get back up onto the sit bones. So you can always use a cushion or a block to sit on. Now we're going to add in the arms. We're just going to lift the arms. So again, we bring that extension into our spine. You allow yourself to roll a little further back if it feels fine for you. And almost squeezing your arms just by your ears. Breathing in as you lower back, out with the effort. And the effort is definitely rolling forwards. And just doing a couple more here. Just a nice release of the spine. And then slump forward. Let your hands rest towards your toes, little tuck in the chin, and almost let your shoulder blades separate. Let the chin tuck in so the neck becomes a little longer. And then we restack our spine. We're going to bring our right leg forward. You can let your left knee bend so your foot's either rest on your calf or towards your inner thigh. Lift your left arm when you're ready and reach to the outside of your calf or further forward to your ankle. Right hand comes in, you tap your fingers together and you're gently going to reach back. So we're just getting that rotation again through the spine. And as you let your head turn with your hand, that rotation into your neck. Breathing out through the mouth. Draw the shoulder blade in towards the spine. Arm nice and long. And just one more here. And then we're going to change over legs. So bring your left leg forward. And again, you can just let your right foot sit towards your ankle, calf, or right up to the in thigh. When you're ready, you're going to bring your right hand forward, and then your left hand just slides forward, and you will find a difference probably from one side to the other. You might feel on this side you don't quite turn as far. Sometimes if you do a lot of sport like golf or tennis, you tend to rotate the same way. The muscles on the opposite side of the spine become a little bit tight. So it's just trying to encourage the side that feels a little bit more stiff, but not forcing it. Using the in-breath, draw the shoulder back, out-breath and release. And one more time. And then you can rest. Okay, when you're ready, we're going to work our way up. So we're going to come up how we came down. We're going to turn back onto all fours. We're going to lift the hips, bend your knees a little if you need to, and you're going to walk the hands back. Heels come to the ground, chin nods in, let the crown of your head just hang to the ground. Draw the belly up to the back. Try and straighten your legs a little bit more, just for a stretch in the hamstrings. Not too painful, just a way you've got a bit of lengthening down the back of your thighs. Whenever you're ready, you're going to bend the knees, take a breath in, and use the out breath as you restack your spine. Tuck it under with the tailbone, allowing the head to lift, and just allowing the shoulders to gently roll back. Pull them down to the back of the ribs, and let's finish with a little twist. Gently turn in from side to side. Let the arms just feel heavy, and let them just wrap around your waist. Keep the hips nice and still. Anchor into the heels still. And once more each way. And then hands come down to your thighs, lift the shoulders up, let them go, and lift, and release. And give yourselves a clap. Well done, ladies and gents, good work.